Clair Obscur Expedition 33 just recently released, and I'm just going to rip the band-aid off. I love this game. Like, this is one of my favorite games in a very long time. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is genuinely a special game, and this is probably one of my favorite games of all time. And I think everybody should at least give it a shot, and if you have Xbox Game Pass and you haven't tried it yet, I don't know what you're doing, because this game is absolutely phenomenal. I initially wanted to do a review of this game, then I felt like doing just a little bit of a video on the discourse surrounding everything in this game would be a better bet for me. But now I feel like touching on both of those things, while also just addressing a lot of the other stuff going on, including most notably the fact that the big elephant in the room in terms of 2025 game releases, GTA 6, has now been pushed out of 2025 and is releasing on May 26, 2026, and who knows, it could even get delayed once more, because we saw with Red Dead 2, that game got delayed into oblivion, but to be fair, that game was phenomenal, so I'll take these delays with GTA 6. The delay of GTA 6 to 2026 certainly gives Clair Obscur a better chance at being crowned 2025 Game of the Year, and I'd say it's even a clear-cut chance at this point, but I do want to talk about a lot, so let's not waste any time and get into it. Expedition 33 released back on April 24th and has taken up all of the time that I've spent gaming ever since I started it on April 25th. I completed the game this previous Wednesday, and this is without a doubt the most that I've been invested in a game's world in quite some time. I think what was so unique about my experience with the game, and I'm sure many other people felt this way, was that it wasn't the writing that initially hooked me. I don't have anything against the writing, and I thought it was very good off of the jump, but I think for me, the biggest thing was just how much I was hooked on the combat. I was simply put just addicted to the gameplay, and I wanted to just be better at my parries as well as dodging and just leveling up my characters. Taking inspiration from the Final Fantasy series, the Persona series, and Lost Odyssey, it's super impressive to me that a small team of about 30 or so people was able to so effectively hit the nail on the head in terms of creating a game that innovates on what so many RPGs that came before it were able to do, and just doing it in Sandfall's first release as a team. The developers did an interview on PlayStation Blog that I will link to down below, where they spoke on just innovating on the classics and showing love to them, such as Final Fantasy, Persona, Lost Odyssey. And I think it's great that they're showing love to these games, but I also think it's great just to see what they were talking about in terms of what went into the development of this combat system in the game. They say the battle system is what we call reactive turn-based, which I think personally is a great name for it, or a great way to describe it. And they also, of course, go on to say that you can take time during battles to establish your strategies, but during the enemy's turn, you will have to react in real time to dodge, jump, or parry enemies to trigger a powerful counterattack. Also, they go on to say, I kept thinking about ways to make turn-based battles more engaging. The attack rhythm system is a mix of different inspirations. We wanted to make something fast-paced to fit in with the vision that we had for battle. As soon as I finished the first prototype of the defense system, I knew it was something special. They definitely did make something special with this game, and like I said, I think it's something that everybody should give a try. I think it's impressive because the gameplay really felt like a Souls-like turn-based game, especially with just how important it is to get your parry times down, because if you can't parry, then basically the bosses at the end of the game or the latter half of the game are really hard to beat and probably impossible to beat, even on the easiest difficulty. I will say I played the game on the Xbox Series X through Game Pass, and there was a lot of times where just the parry system I had trouble with when I first started, because I was using a Series X controller that is 5 years old at this point, and I had to really start holding down all the way on the far edge of the bumper whenever I wanted to parry, and once I was able to get that down, the parry time got much easier for me, and I had a much better time playing the game and just really learning the parry timing and all that. Parries are so important in this game because obviously you're attacking back at your enemy and negating the damage done to yourself, but parries earn you APs in this game. APs you build up are how you gain access to your skill moves, and you get 1 AP per attack you do, and also get at least 1 AP per parry that you do, and you can get more depending on the different pictos that you have equipped. Pictos are unlocked by playing the game, exploring the world, etc., and pictos can give you shield, add to areas of your attributes such as speed, defense, etc., and literally change an entire fight that you might be having trouble with beforehand before you went and changed your pictos, so they can literally change your entire experience in the latter half of the game. The art style and different animations are great and really help to create a beautiful environment and world that I spent so much time exploring and checking out. I think little things like the animations, the way the characters stand or shift in the menus, or different other little quips add more character to this game than the game already has. I'm personally a big fan of Final Fantasy 16, which yes, I know is a hot take for most people, but Ben Starr, who voiced the main character Clive in Final Fantasy 16, voices a character in this game that I won't spoil, but I crazily enough enjoyed Ben's work in this game more than I did in Final Fantasy 16, and I don't want to just credit Ben, as I think the whole voice acting cast did a phenomenal job and deserves recognition for how great they were, especially together. The soundtrack is something that I think you without a doubt have to experience yourself in the game. I can't even put into words how much I enjoyed it. I thought the music that accompanies so many of the fights were great. I love the piano and the violins that you would hear in different songs. And the music that accompanies so many fights, including most notably the phenomenal music and score we get in the final boss fight, was so grand and can rival some of the best gaming soundtracks in recent memory, if not ever. The story is solid throughout, but personally I don't think it really hooks you until a few hours into the game, but when it does a really great job of keeping you invested. The final boss was great like I said, and I enjoyed the whole battle, but I really gotta say the fight between Gustav and the person who was known at the time as the white-haired man literally had me shocked and looking at my screen like this. I don't think I have any bias when I say that everything the game does is just basically everything that people in the gaming industry or fans of the gaming industry have been asking for. The $50 price point, especially now when game prices are going up to $80 for some titles, makes this game feel like even more of a steal than it is, and you mix that in with the high quality, innovative turn-based gameplay, a sizable amount of side content, and a story that doesn't overstay its welcome, coming in at about 30 hours to complete the main story, and I don't know what trope you can really throw at this game other than maybe it's just not your cup of tea. Of course, we know not everybody is going to play this game or really be into it, with a lot of the fact being that people just aren't into turn-based RPGs, but I will say we know that people are loving this game just due to the fact that the game is literally selling out at retailers. We literally can't have this game kept in stock apparently, to the point that the Expedition 33 official Twitter account had to put out an apology and let people know that they're in the process of restocking the physical edition of the game. The other way you know people are interested in this, or maybe even loving the game, is because of the way people online are saying this is bringing back turn-based RPGs. This tweet has been covered by many other creators at this point, but creator Xanar Aesthetics said that Expedition 33 proved turn-based games should make a comeback. As accurately pointed out by OJ or Player Essence, who is always great, you should definitely check out his content, give him a follow. He says that we've seen great games like all of the ones that he listed here, and personally I 100% agree with him, and I think a game like Metaphor ReFantazio being in the Game of the Year running last year, the fact that Octopath Traveler is a series that has sold over 5 million units, and Bravely Default 2 sold over 1 million copies in just its first year on the market, it's safe to say that turn-based RPGs never went away. The only difference now is maybe a mainstream audience has finally picked up a turn-based game once again, or for the first time with Expedition 33. This leads me to my next point, which is about what former Dragon Age lead writer David Gator, I don't want to botch his name, it's one of those two. I want to talk about what he said about the game. David said Expedition 33 could be to turn-based RPGs what Baldur's Gate 3 was to CRPGs, aka computer role-playing games. And this caused a lot of discussion online. I will say, I think in the way that Baldur's Gate 3 shed a more mainstream light to the CRPG genre, that hopefully Expedition 33 will be able to do the same for turn-based RPGs, but there's simply people online who just didn't like what David had to say. I don't even know why I'm focusing on this, because on the GameSpot forum, they basically misrepresented what David said 100%, saying that David said that this saved the turn-based RPG genre, which is not even close to what he said. But somebody wrote, I've seen dumb takes on this game since release, how it's the greatest JRPG ever, or how it's going to show Square Enix how wrong they are. Square Enix never stopped making turn-based, nor has turn-based vanished. The game isn't a revolution, just a decent game that's gotten some media coverage. I disagree in the sense that this game is without a doubt better than just a quote-unquote decent game, and while the game might not be a revolution to the turn-based RPG genre, it's certainly a very innovative one. In another forum where they were going over Expedition 33 being the potential savior of turn-based games, someone wrote, turn-based never died. There's no need for a savior of anything. Maybe you turn-based fans are so used to stuff like Metaphor that when an actual good game like Expedition 33 comes out, you think of it as the second coming of Christ. I do agree with the first part, turn-based RPGs never died, but I think it's crazy to say that Metaphor is not a quote-unquote good game, because I did really enjoy Metaphor ReFantazio. In my opinion, the reason I think people are speaking on this game so highly and viewing it so highly is simply put because it is genuinely one of the best turn-based RPGs to ever come out. For me, if you go to the only other 2 videos that I've uploaded on this channel, they are about 2 turn-based RPGs that I love, Final Fantasy IX and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So of course, I love the genre, and I don't think that my opinion deserves to be higher than anybody else's, but I've played the genre since I was a child, and I really do think that I'm not crazy to say that this is a top-tier turn-based RPG. This game and the hype around it can hopefully show different developers that if you make a great turn-based RPG and you just market it well, it's going to sell well and it's going to have a lot of hype around it. The game also has being on Xbox Game Pass on its side and somehow has still sold over 1 million copies, and I think that says a lot. And I do really want to pick it up on PS5 when it comes back in stock physically, and I will see how it looks on my PS5 Pro. Expedition 33 is without a doubt my game of the year right now, and while I'm extremely excited for Ghost of Yotei, and I think that will also be in the running for game of the year, I'm just not totally sold that it could top a game like Expedition 33, at least not in my book. This game has engulfed me in the world that the developers created, and simply put, this is not a feeling that I've had with a game in quite a while. So many other great games have released over the previous few years, but for me personally, this is without a doubt my favorite game that's released this decade. And with what we saw from this game, it truly feels like the great skill of a great team of developers, and not just some lightning in a bottle type release. I want to know in the comments if you've gotten the chance to play Expedition 33, what you think about it if you have, or just anything else relating to the game down below. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you could give it a like, and if you're new to the channel, I'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, as I have a lot more gaming content coming out relating to RPGs as well as other gaming genres. Thank you so much for watching though, and I am out. Peace.